Hi guys, welcome back to Silly Sarah's channel. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving break. I know I did. um, so Thanksgiving, as we know by the name itself, it's about being thankful. And something I've been thinking about a lot is how lucky I am for my circumstances. Like, I'm 18, I'm young, and I have more freedom than I ever had being at ZooMass and away from home. And also, I'm thankful for who I am, and I'm thankful for the fact that I feel like I'm capable of doing so much, and like, I'm thankful for like my abilities, if that makes sense. And on that train of thought, when I think about like, oh, I feel like I can conquer the world or whatever, it makes me sad to think that some people don't have confidence in their own capabilities and as a result lack motivation to do hard work. I've always been labeled as a hard worker, and I was even coined as a try hard in high school by some very smart girls in the bathroom once. But the reason why I even put so much energy in everything I do is because I know the end result will be worth it. I truly believe with every fiber in my soul that I will have a bright future because every day I implement the self discipline I've developed from my self confidence. But with that observation, I've noticed a pattern. People with low self confidence don't even put a little effort, let alone a valiant effort, because they feel like that effort and time will be wasted. Whether that's cheating on a chemistry quiz or flirting at the bar, knowing damn well you have a loyal girlfriend back home, whatever it is, people wouldn't cheat if they felt secure. Nobody would smuggle a whole ass cheat sheet for a test if they had studied and felt confident that they could perform well during the test and would get a good grade afterward. And no one would be unfaithful to their partner if they felt confident that they have a happy and healthy relationship with their partner and if they were confident in being single. What I mean by confident in being single is that sometimes insecure people will be the main culprits of cheating because playing the field or having some lovers in their back pocket will ensure that they are getting romantic validation in case their main relationship falls through instead of being 100% committed and feeling okay with the feeling that the relationship could end and they would now be single. Some people just like that are insecure, they don't like the feeling of being alone because they don't like themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're masking being by themselves with like, oh, let me like be in a relationship, like attach themselves to someone because they don't like who they are, just like alone. Like those will be the same people that don't feel confident enough to go places by themselves. Or like I eat alone at the dining common a ton, and I know some people that like they'll always ask me like, oh Sarah, can you go to the dining common? I'm like, oh, I already ate by myself, sorry. And they're like, can you just come? Like I won't eat otherwise, like I'm just gonna starve in my dorm. And I'm like, girl, what? I know that's not necessarily calling them, oh, saying they have like low self confidence, but I would say in that respective, I'm more confident because I'm okay with being alone, okay being, I don't know, that's like a, yeah, but, and also, this is like a little different though, but still on the topic of people being insecure, people being culprits of cheating in relationships. If someone is insecure and lacking confidence, specifically in their appearance, and they're getting attention from someone outside of the relationship who's like commenting on their body or their personality or making them feel like they're really sexy or whatever, and their current partner isn't giving them that validation or isn't like saying those things, then that's a reason why some people cheat, because their low self-confidence needs, they just need that affirmation, But people that are secure in themselves, they don't really need affirmation because they get it from themselves. It's like self-affirmation. You don't need external validation. Um but on the opposite side of the spectrum of confidence, people with inflated self-confidence, what I mean by inflated self confidence, if you need like a visual, just think of the popular kids in high school that acted like they were celebrities, recording their TikToks in the hallway, taking up so much space, and like whatever. They are also culprits of cheating, typically. Um, but you would think if I just went on about how people who cheat are normally people that have like believe that they can't really accomplish things because they have low self-confidence in their abilities. um these kind of people with inflated self-confidence, they cheat because they think they are deserving of good outcomes, and they are not deserving of having to deal with the tenuous struggle and time it takes to do honest hard work. Like, you see these billionaires on the news running corporations where they treat their line workers like slaves, like in sweatshops, um, cutting corners in human rights and treating these people worse than grime under their sneakers can only be done by a person who views themselves in a godlike complex and feels as though they are more entitled to good fortune than everyone working below them. It's like these kinds of people surpass a level of healthy self confidence to a place that is so toxic. And if you think about it, these kind of people and their inflated self confidence are evil. And people this vain may lack the inhibitions of insecure, low self confident people, but they are just as guilty of being lazy cheaters. And in a way, it's even more dangerous because they typically don't even feel guilty about it. And again, because their self justification is that they deserve it, that's why they live guilt free being cheaters. Um, and going back to what I was saying about relationships, how a lot of cheaters lack self confidence, a lot of cheaters on the other side of the spectrum with inflated self confidence um, will be incredibly unfaithful because they think they're the hottest shit to exist, and they don't give two fucks about hurting people. They just don't. All right. I know it's easier said than done to have a healthy, happy amount of self confidence between self doubting and self worshipping. I know. And I'm not perfect in that respect. Um, and this balance is something I think about daily, and I try to be introspective about my self perception of my confidence. Um, and personally, on my bad days, I do lean more toward inflated self confidence, whether that's boasting or bragging or taking a million selfies. It's just not a good habit to be too into yourself. But beside that, doing things that make myself proud um, is how I'm able to be healthily confident for the most time. For the most part, I am human, so I'm not perfect, but yeah. Um, and I achieve that normally by, like I said, proving to myself that I'm capable, that I'm smart, that I'm strong, and that I'm a good person. Um, okay, so I just spoke for 6 minutes about cheating and like confidence levels, but why should we really seriously dissect cheating when it has, does, and will always exist, even if we try to prevent it? And honestly, I don't care about stopping cheating as a whole. Like, if someone wants to use Chat GPT just to try to finish their homework, like, So many kids do that. Like no, we're not solving that. Like, kids are gonna use Chat GPT. People are gonna be fucking assholes and cheat on their spouses. Like, we can't stop that. But something that's really concerning is how cheating and not being honest is becoming so increasingly common in our society, and so, like, okay. Like, I'll hear young people talking about, like praising their friends, like, oh my god, slay queen, like, for making out with a guy when they already have a boyfriend or something. Or, like, with all the college scandals, like, you hear on the news, like, no, like, society has deviated from being a place of honesty, like, compared to, like, previous generations, by a huge margin, and it's crazy, honestly. Just to add on, I just want to say that America used to be a place of so much more integrity and hard work. And also, in our society today, hookup culture is so rampant, and there is just an utter lack of loyalty in relationships nowadays versus in the past. People were so much more committed to their partners because relationships were the standard, versus stupid situationships or friends with benefits that we have nowadays. It's, yeah. But um I think this epidemic of cheating in our generation is due to the digital culprit, social media. I know it's a cliche to point the finger at social media again, but that's the truth. Detrimental is detrimental. We stare at a glowing rectangle full of images of perfect looking people living fun lives for hours each day, every day, and not be expected to compare ourselves, our appearance, and our accomplishments to these perfect people. And while we are comparing, one of two things usually happens. Either the first, we compare ourselves to these people and we feel like shit because we aren't as good compared to them. Like, we feel inadequate. And when we do, it decreases our self confidence, and you just become more of like a shell of a person. I don't know. But on the other side, if we match or surpass this standard that we see, we're like, oh, we kind of look like this IG model. Like, oh, we're kind of, I don't know. And these kind of people that, like, feel like they match the standard, they'll start posting too, and then they'll get validated. They'll get likes and followers and comments being like, oh, you're so hot. Then their ego becomes inflated, and then they have a lot of self-confidence now that is rooted in or sourced from social media. Like, that's where they're getting validation, right? And because of that, this, like, these two polar sides, social media has a way to destroy young people from having healthy and reasonable self-perception. And I think one of the saddest parts of this is that not only do these apps waste so much of our time, we'll just scroll for hours, even, like, just like if we're in a car with friends eating food around our loved ones, or just like anywhere, we're always on our phones. So not only do these apps already waste so much of our time by hypnotizing us, it also makes our vision foggy when we're offline by making us incapable to see ourselves in the world as it truly is, because we've lost self-perception. We've lost our ability to be, just to see things as it is, whether to see our abilities, to see who we are. It's, yeah. I mean, I guess the only solution is to is to delete Instagram. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. This is Silly Sarah. Um, just remember to be true to yourself and just reflect. Honestly, that's the best thing you can do. Just have a good night.